Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandra.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Bialwis. Let's take a look at the main headlines for tonight.
Former Minister Partali Champika has been remanded till December 24th. The mother of Sandeep says the former minister had not visited them to check on their son after the road accident. Court orders the Swiss embassy to hand over the mobile devices and SIM cards belonging to Ghania and her husband to the CID. Former President's Chief of Staff and former Chairman of State Timber Corporation sentenced to rigorous imprisonment. A special committee appointed to study the MCC agreement.
Moving on to those and other stories in detail. The Colombo Chief Magistrates Court ordered today to remand former Minister Partali Champika until December 24th. The Attorney General's department informed the court that clear evidence has been obtained to prove that the disputed road accident was committed by the former minister. As per the instructions of the Attorney General, the Colombo Crimes Division took the former minister into custody at his residence in Jayantipura, Battarbulla yesterday. The former minister has been charged for causing serious injuries to a youth in a road accident, swapping the driver and scheming. The leader of United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, and others were seen at the residence of the former minister subsequent to his arrest. The Colombo Crimes Division recorded a statement from the former minister after he was taken to the division premises. He was then produced before Colombo Additional Magistrate Niranjala De Silva at around 10 p.m. yesterday. The Additional Magistrate had ordered to keep the former minister in remand custody until today. Accordingly, the defendant was produced before the Colombo Magistrate Court this morning. The Deputy Solicitor General has informed the court it has been revealed that during the time period, the officer in charge of the Valikada police station had influenced the traffic police officers to make notes citing that the accident was not committed by former Minister Ranavaka and it was committed by another person. Pointing out that Pooja Jayasundara had acted as the DIG of the Colombo zone at the time, the Deputy Solicitor General said that the investigations have revealed that the IGP on compulsory leave had also attempted to conceal the evidence related to the case. Emphasizing that certain police officers had schemed to rescue the former minister from the case, the Deputy Solicitor General said that steps will be taken to record statements from these officers and produce them before the court. It was revealed in the court that the suspect, Diluntus Kumara, who was set to be arrested over the incident, has been hidden by a certain group of people. The attorneys of the defendant said that the case related to the road accident occurred in 2016 is a concluded court case. They pointed out that the recommencing of the investigations of such a court case, hence arresting and remanding the suspect, is against the law. Colombo Additional Magistrate Kanchana De Silva mentioned that the suspect will not be granted bail for now, as the investigations related to the case are currently at the primary level. The magistrate ordered the Colombo Crimes Division to produce a progress report of the case at the next hearing on December 24th. Manjula Pereira, son of former UNP organizer for the Kalani Electoral Division, Bevan Pereira, had allegedly assaulted a journalist from Lake House who had arrived to cover the court proceedings. The victim of the alleged assault, journalist Gayan Pushpika, was hospitalized. Kesalvatha police arrested Manjula Pereira over the alleged assault. He was then released on a personal bail worth 150,000 rupees.
The parents of Sandeep Sampath, victim of the road accident that occurred in 2016, are in immense pain over the plight of their only child. Today, their only wish is to cure their child. This is Sandeep Sampath. He suffered severe injuries from a road accident that occurred in Rajagiri on February 28, 2016. He was disabled from the damages caused on his head from the accident. The parents are taking an immense effort in order to make their only child to stand on his own feet for the last 4 years. Sandeep Sampath's father said that they took care of their child for the past 4 years, even at their old age. He said that they only hoped to get him to stand on his own feet. He requested the government to support them to cure him. He said that the previous government failed to look into their plight. He added that the previous government also failed to provide them justice. He said that they respect the President and the Prime Minister for looking into their plight in a humane manner. Sandeep Sampath's mother said that her husband visited former Minister Ranawaka, yet no support was extended to them. She said that the former minister failed to visit her son when he was in the hospital. She said that she sought the help of a doctor for his treatments than the help of the legal system of the country. She said that with the help of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, they managed to find a doctor to treat her son. Sandeep Sampath said that he was following a software engineering course at NIBM. He said that his education stopped midway due to the accident. He said that he will resume his studies if he gets the opportunity. He said that he wishes to be better so that he could carry out his work on his own.
The Colombo Chief Magistrate Lankaja Ratna ordered the Swiss Embassy to hand over the mobile devices and SIM cards belonging to Gania and her husband to the Criminal Investigations Department today. Meanwhile, another order was issued to the Prison Superintendent to provide the opportunity for the CID to record further statements from the suspect. The Swiss Embassy employee Gania Barrister Francis, who is in remand custody, was taken to the National Mental Health Institute in Angola for the second day today to produce her before a board of psychologists. Colombo 4 Chief Magistrate Lankaja Ratna ordered recently to present the psychological evaluation report of the suspect at the earliest. Senior counsel representing the CID, Janaka Bandara, requested the court to order to produce the suspect before a board of specialist psychologists. Upon the order issued by the Colombo 4 Magistrate, Gania Barrister Francis was taken to the National Institute of Mental Health last Monday. Taking the case up for hearing on the same day, the magistrate ordered to produce the relevant suspect before a board of specialist psychologists. Accordingly, she was brought to the National Institute of Mental Health in Angola this morning for the medical examination. She was taken back to Valikade prison around 12:15 in the afternoon.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa pledges to fulfill the aspirations of the people who elected him into the presidency. He made these remarks while taking part in a meeting with the foreign correspondents in Colombo. The president emphasized during the meeting that steps will be taken to achieve the main objectives of the public who elected him into power, to build a modest society by ensuring national security and rapid economic development.
During the election campaign, we gave detailed policy plan in our policy statement. So we have taken one by one, prioritized things, and we are working on it. The first thing that we did was the introducing a simple tax plan, because there was so much of very complicated taxes where even the business people and everybody was in difficulty. So we have cut down all those taxes, and we have reduced the VAT to 8%, and also we have taken out most of the complicated taxes out of the tax scheme. That's not only benefited, and also especially the cut down of the pay tax that has benefited a lot of work, government as well as the private sector. Our idea of cutting the taxes is to energize the economy and also transfer these benefits to the normal people.
A discussion was held regarding the incident related to the Swiss embassy employee. The president said that the Swiss ambassador is right to represent the woman related to the incident, as she is an employee of the Swiss embassy. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa elaborated that the technological evidence has revealed that any form of abduction had not taken place, as complained. He also explained on the impacts of the incident.
Actually, in this case, the victim is me. It's not that lady. Because immediately after my election, this story came up. Even before reporting it to us, it came up in New York Times, it came up in many websites, and local politicians came out in media and started criticizing us without knowing the facts. It's very clear, it's a planned thing to discredit me and the government. So it is very clear they wanted this. Over the years, they were talking about white vans and all that, abductions. Now they want to say that immediately after my election this was taking place. So that now it is very clear it was a fabricated story. So but if the foreign media is whatever, as you said, if they are continuing on this attack rather than discussing the facts, it is very unfair.
The Colombo Permanent High Court at Bar has sentenced rigorous imprisonment to former President's Chief of Staff IHK Mahanama and former Chairman of the State Timber Corporation Piyadasa Dissanayake. Both the suspects were found guilty of the charges for soliciting a bribe of 20 million rupees. The verdict was announced by a three-member judge bench comprised of Justices Sampath Abekon, Sampath Wijayaratne and Champa Janaki Rajaratne. Accordingly, former President's Chief of Staff IHK Mahanama was sentenced to 20 years of rigorous imprisonment. Imposing a penalty of 65,000 rupees, the court also imposed another penalty on the defendant to pay the 20 million rupees which was solicited as a bribe. Former Chairman of the State Timber Corporation, Piyadasa Dissanayake, was sentenced to 12 years of rigorous imprisonment, and the Permanent High Court at Bar imposed a penalty of 55,000 rupees. Announcing the verdict, Chairman of the judge bench, Sampath Abekun, said that the charges made against the victims have been proven without a doubt. Accordingly, the judge issued the sentences against the defendants. The defendants had demanded a bribe of 100 million from an Indian businessman on May 3, 2018, or on a closer date to transfer the damaged material belonging to the Kantale sugar factory. The officers of the Bribery Commission made the arrest when the defendants were receiving the bribe worth of 20 million rupees. Subsequently, the Bribery Commission filed a case against the defendants under 24 charges.
A special committee headed by Professor Lalithathiri Gunaruwan of University of Colombo has been appointed to carry out a complete study on the MCC agreement and submit a report to the government. The committee was appointed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa speaking at the media briefing held to announce the cabinet decision. Co-cabinet spokesman Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the cabinet of ministers has approved the appointment of the committee yesterday. The special committee headed by Professor Lalithathiri Gunaruwan consists of former Transport Ministry Secretary D.S. Jayavira, President's Councils Nihal Jayawardena and Nalaka Jayavira. Co-cabinet spokesman Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that a specialist committee has been appointed to study the prevailing situation and submit a report on this regard. He said that the signing of the agreement has been completely suspended. The Cabinet of Ministers have granted approval to provide 2 million rupees to each village in the country for infrastructure development. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the practical implementation of the projects will be commenced in the month of February. The projects will be initiated under Sapiri Gamak program. He added, the minister said that an initiative to recruit 100,000 low-income earners into the state service will also be implemented along with the program. He said that the main objective of the project is to eradicate poverty in the country. He said that training programs will be initiated in parallel to this program. Meanwhile, the Cabinet of Ministers have decided on the complete suspension of the importing of minor crops. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the importation of the lanterns for the upcoming Vesak festival will be prohibited. Also, he said that lanterns, joss sticks and kites will be produced locally in order to uplift the domestic revenue earning process.
Parliamentarian Rajatha Senaratne has filed an anticipatory bail application before the Colombo Chief Magistrate Court, seeking the prevention of his arrest over white van media briefing. The director of the Criminal Investigation Department and several other officials have been named as the respondents of this bail application. The parliamentarian claims that the CID is preparing to arrest him over the said media briefing. Hence, he requested the court to release him on anticipatory bail before he is taken into custody by the CID. Deputy Leader of the United National Party, parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa, says that only a handful of individuals cannot get together and take decisions on behalf of the party. He made these remarks at a public meeting held in Agalavatta to extend his gratitude to those who supported him in the election. Deputy Leader of United National Party, parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa, said that certain individuals are scheming to chase him out of the party. He said that he was not given at least a minimum amount of funds to print his presidential election manifesto. He said that they received the adequate funds much later. However, he said that enough funds have been given out to carry out mudslinging campaigns against him. He said that he has no intention to be in politics or gain positions out of greed. The parliamentarian said that only a handful of individuals should not get together and take decisions on behalf of the party. He added that these decision-making processes should be transparent and open to all.
සමහර අයට මේව නැතුවම බෑනේ. මේක බදාගෙනම ඉන්න ඕනේ සදාකාලිකවම. চিරහත් කාලයක් බදාගෙන ඉන්නට ඕන කට්ටියත් ඉන්නවා. අනේ මට නම් එහෙම නෑ. මට අත්හරින්න බොහොම ලේසියෙන් පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේ යෝජනා ඉස්තිරකම් එලිපිට කරන්න ඕන. මේව මේ කාමරස්සේ කරගෙන හරියන්නේ නෑ. 3-4 දෙනෙක් එක්කහුව කරගෙන. Tamanට yes 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 කියන කට්ටිය එක්කහුව කරගෙන යෝජනා ඉස්තිර කරලා හරියන්නේ නෑ. මේ එලිපිට කරන්නට ඕන.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian Sajith Premadasa also took part in a public meeting held in Matugama today.
Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, says that he is satisfied with the proceedings of the commission appointed to probe the Easter Sunday attacks. The Archbishop of Colombo made these remarks in a media briefing held at the official residence of the Archbishop today. Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, said he was informed that the Commission is carrying out the investigations in a justifiable manner. He said that the responsibility of the government and the appointed Commission is to determine the individuals behind the Easter Sunday attacks, the reason for such heinous acts, and identify the individuals who sponsored and enforced the terrorist attack. The Archbishop of Colombo said that the present commission has directed their attention in uncovering these factors and hope that this commission will fulfill their aspirations. He said they hope that the commission will submit recommendations to provide justice with regard to the incident. The Archbishop of Colombo said that a request was made to the government to provide additional security, and the government promised to fulfill this request. He said that adequate security was requested for each church in the country, especially for the midnight mass before the Christmas and the masses, which will be held on Christmas Day.
A maximum retail price on rice has been imposed at 98 rupees a kilogram. The relevant Gazette notification was issued today. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed the Consumer Affairs Authority to take several legal actions against the traders who fraudulently increased the price rates of rice, biganians and other food items. The President had given these directions while engaging in a swift observational visit to the Special Economic Centre in Narayanpeta last night. An economically beneficial environment has been created for the rice mill owners and traders, consequent to the tax concessions imposed by the government. However, the consumers have complained that they are unable to purchase rice from the stores at the maximum retail price. Investigating on the complaints, the President instructed to take severe legal actions against the traders who fraudulently increased the price rates of rice. The Consumer Affairs Authority has announced that island-wide raids will be carried out to identify traders who sell rice at a higher price rate when a maximum retail price rate has already been declared.
Foreign Relations Secretary Ravinatha Arya Sinha says that the operationalization of the recently developed Revitalized Africa policy seeks to enhance Sri Lanka's cooperation in the political, economic and cultural spheres across Africa. The Foreign Relations Secretary made these observations while addressing a representative group of scholars at the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs in Cairo recently. The program was held under the theme Sri Lanka-Egypt relations and strengthening Sri Lanka's relations with the African continent. The Foreign Secretary was in Cairo for the inaugural session of the bilateral political consultations between Sri Lanka and Egypt. The policy document aims to optimize the strategic linkages through proximity to the Indian Ocean, centrality of Sri Lanka's location, and cooperation through the 54-member African Union.
Sri Lankan Airlines and Gulf Air have entered into a code-share partnership, significantly enhancing the travel options of their respective customers. Under this agreement, Sri Lanka will place its UL code on Gulf Air's flights from Bahrain to Colombo, the Greek capital Athens, and Larnaca in Cyprus. Gulf Air in return places its GF code on Sri Lankan Airlines flights from Colombo to Bahrain. The code share agreement followed the signing of a MOU between the two airlines and is also intended to further strengthen the long-standing friendship between the two nations. Sri Lankan Airlines is established as one of the leading airlines in the Indian Ocean region, being the largest carriers to both Sri Lanka and Maldives and the largest foreign airline in India with its hub in Colombo.
A locomotive engine was derailed between Maradana and Dematugada today. No one was harmed owing to the derailment that occurred this evening. The number 55 train scheduled to travel from Maradana to Mount Lavinia was derailed, and the operations along the main railway line were delayed following the derailment. The relevant work to return the main railway line back to normalcy is currently underway.
And now to give you a stock update, the All Shares Price Index closed at 6,045.27 points, dropped by minus 13.82 points, and the S&P SL 20 Index closed at 2,946.34 points, also dropped by minus 6.76 points at the end of trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange today. The turnover was over 556 million rupees. Here's a summary of the market details at the Colombo Stock Exchange today.
Welcome back. A look at sports news. National Television's Beyond the Boundary program clinched the Sports Excellence Jury Award for the Sports Program of the Year at the Silk Sports Awards 2019. The ceremony was held at the BMICH. This year's Silk Awards ceremony presented 29 awards, including jury awards. The awards were presented to journalists, influencers, coaches and players who have immensely contributed towards the betterment of sports. The Sri Lankan athletes who excelled in this year's South Asian Games received awards at the ceremony. The award for the National Television's Beyond the Boundary was received by the producer of the program, Yenuka Dasanayaka. The award for the most popular sports personality of the year was presented to Thajini Sivalingam. The Best Sporting Team of the Year award was presented to the Sri Lanka national deaf cricket team.
And before we wind up, let's have a quick look at the weather. The Met Department says that showery condition over the island, particularly in eastern Uva, western Sabaragamu and central provinces, and in Hambantota district is expected to continue further. Showers or thundershowers will occur at times in eastern Uva and central provinces and in Hambantota district. Several spells of showers will occur in northern, northwestern and north central provinces. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Gormatra district after 2 p.m. Heavy falls above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in eastern Uva, western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Nuwara district.
That's it for the news this evening. Have a good night.
Good night.